we're going to show you how to do so many things today, but it doesn't mean you're going to be good at it, because the whole thing to this, your brain has nothing to do with it. It's all involved in listening. And when we go outside, be aware that everything has a frequency. Everything, trees, even your automobile has a frequency. So when you're looking for something, you don't have to know today that feeling, but I want you to be aware that there is a difference. You'll probably find when you cross over the telephone line that your rods cross real slowly. When you cross over the electric line, they cross real quick. That's just because there's so much more energy coming through the electric line than it is the telephone line. When you walk over the water line, we got a lot of tricks here. So we got a lot of tricks to find. So, but I want you, when you go home, I want you to be aware that everything has a different frequency. And I'll be right up front with you. I'm not all that good at that anymore. I used to. But I can go to New Zealand right now, and in New Zealand they'll have the electric line coming here, and they'll have a telephone line coming here, they'll have a gas line coming here, and what else? The 4 television cable line comes here. They're like 4 or 5 lines all within this table, and I can't tell you which is which. I can find them all, but I'm really not very good at telling you which is which. But I've taught several people that just pick it up just like that, when they know what it is when they walk over it. So I want you to know that you're not going to be good at all of it. If one of you is better at something else than you are, or somebody else is better than you are, don't let it bother you. You'll be better than them at something else. But I just want you to know how to do it. I want you to learn how to do it, that's all. And then you can go home and practice. But practice is the key. Practice is the key. So, however I teach you to do things, it's my way of doing it, or the way I was taught, and it doesn't mean you've got to do it the same way. Okay? Your pendulum, we're going to teach you how to program, but there are hundreds of ways to program a pendulum. You can program them any way you want to. These are called L rods. And they're held just like that. You hold them nice and loose so they can turn either way. And for most people, when they get to the target, they'll cross just like that. But here again, you don't think about it. All you do, if you're looking for water, you just picture in your mind underground stream of water, and you send your brain off on holiday. You don't use your brain for this at all. You're just listening to your angels, your spirit. Some people call them spirit guides. I call them my angels. You can call them whatever. These are called Y rods, and you see people with the trees, and they're held like that, and when you get to your target, they'll go down. Sometimes they'll come back up and hit you. But we try to learn to have them go down. But a lot of times when you first learn it, they'll actually come back and hit you rather than going down. This is more difficult to learn. You don't have to learn this before you can go home. But before you can go home, you have to learn this. You have to learn to use your L rods and your pendulum. Now, we're going to go out this morning. It's all listed in here, but I'll go over it with you. We're going to go out this morning, and we're going to take our L rods and our Y rods with us, and we're going to locate water line, electric line, underground streams, and we're going to try to figure out the feeling of it. If you don't get it, it's no big deal. You can get it when you go home. But I just want you to be aware that everything comes through your body differently. This is information that you already know. Your body, when you walk across that yard, your body already knows where those things are, but we've taught ourselves not to listen. So we're going to reverse that, and we're going to try to teach ourselves to listen. That's the key, because your body already knows it. And here again, you'll be finding things that aren't what you're looking for. The key is to find what you are looking for. When you walk across this yard, there are lots of things here, and you may be looking for the water line, and you find the electric line. It's easy to find stuff. We just have to learn to find what it is we're looking for rather than everything else that's there, because it's all kinds of stuff to find. This I'll show you. This is just to show you that you can make dowsing tools from anything. There's a gentleman by the name of Louis Matasha that made these just from strapping material, and this is like that wire rod, and you walk over something, when you find it, it just goes down. But you can make this from anything. Another tool, which this is called a bobber, and you just bob it up and down like that, and when you get to your target, it starts going around like that. So people have fun with them, but for practical purposes, they aren't quite as practical as some of the other tools, because they're not, I don't want to say it's accurate, but it's harder to be exact with them. You can find a water line, but you may not be within 3 or 4 feet of it by the time it starts turning. Where with these, with the L rods and your Y rod, you'd be just spot on. But it's fun, and you take them out there and you can use them. And if you ever want to get any, you can. They're available from American Society of Dowsers, and I have a fellow that makes these for me. But everything else will come with your class today. Now, we're going to go outside, and what we're going to do is we're going to locate some of the water lines, electric lines, and then the next thing we're going to do is the most important thing that we do all day. We're going to learn to put a protective light around us. Now, you can put this light around yourself, you can put it around your house, your car. Always put it around your car when you go somewhere. And this light is like a protective shield, and it just protects you from any harmful thought forms that anybody will send you. And if at the end of the day we're good enough, we might not do it because we seldom have strength, but we can demonstrate thought forms. They're real. We can just pick a thought form of something and have everybody concentrate on it in the yard, and then the other person can just go find it with their dowsing rods. Thought forms are real. And that's the way that we demonstrate it. We may not do that because it's going to all depend on, I don't want to put pressure on people. If I feel sort of at the end of the day that everybody's in tune enough to do it, we'll do it, but I don't want to embarrass people by not being able to find it, because that's a difficult thing to do. I mean, there are plenty of people that can't see thought forms. But I'll tell you a cute story with thought forms. Your hair reminds me. The first year we went to Dowsing school, there was this lady with a hairdo like hers, and she would be walking, there was in a college, and she'd be walking down the hall and people would just be laughing at her. And we didn't know why people were laughing at her. And come to find out, the people that could see thought forms, somebody had put a rabbit in her hair. And there was a rabbit in her hair, all curled up. And the people that could see thought forms could see that. And we didn't know that. So it was probably a couple days when we finally asked somebody why they were laughing at her all the time. And it was because somebody put this rabbit curled up in her hair. And it was just nested up in there just like that.
That's a rabbit in mine.
But people...
Pretty little bird.
But you can put thought forms wherever you are. And a lot of times people send you thought forms that are meant to bring you harm, and what we do is we teach you how to put a protective shield around you to send them back to them with love. But thought forms are very real, and the more you learn about this, the more you'll see all those things are important. Anyway, now what we're going to do is we're going to go outside, leave your brains here or somewhere else. If your brain likes the beach, the seashore, just send it there. Because from now on, we're going to just be listening to our angels. You don't concentrate on finding something, you just picture it and ask your angels to find it. And when you get there, like I say, your rods will just cross with you.